Hey, Sagittarius. Thanks for joining me for your June reading. So, to kick it off, Spirit showed me something really cool when I was tuning into your energy. They were showing me, it was like, I don't know where I'm looking, right? But I'm looking at like a concrete room, and it's basically, it kind of looks like a military base. And they're training these soldiers, but they're training their minds. And Spirit is talking about like these high level, government agencies and things like that understand that having people visualize and literally walk themselves mentally and even emotionally through a difficult or challenging situation prepares them for when they are actually in the difficult situation. So Spirit was having me basically say, Sagittarius, put yourself through like some virtual reality training, which you don't need any equipment. It's sitting back, taking a few deep breaths, because even imagining perhaps this challenging phone call or this hard conversation, or like I need to ask for a raise, or I need to put up a boundary, or I need to go out of my comfort zone in some way, or meet some challenge. Maybe you have a health challenge that you're having to face. Sitting back, again, taking those deep breaths, finding your center, that space where it's like, okay, I can find a place of equilibrium, whatever may be happening around me, like I can find that place in myself where I can remain centered. And then visualize yourself having that conversation or facing that challenge and what that actually is going to entail and what that looks like. And imagine showing up the way that you want to show up. And it's like putting yourself kind of through drills, like energetic, emotional, and mental drills to be able to, when the situation comes, you're ready. And Spirit is giving me something else which is really cool. They're reminding me of one of my favorite Stoic philosophers. His name was Seneca the Younger. And one of the things that Seneca the Younger did to help himself be a better man, right, which is the whole point of the Stoics, to be a better person, to use what we're given and make the most of it, whether it sucks or whether it's great, right? That's the idea. So Seneca wanted to be able to show up in difficult situations as like his wholehearted self. So, for example, imagining those moments in life where maybe you're seeing somebody be really rude to like a cashier, and you like kind of want to say something or stand up for them or help them out, but there's like that inherent social pressure of like, no, actually just stay out of it, just keep your head down, don't stand out, don't, make like basically like make yourself the tall flower that gets mowed. You know what I mean? Like we all have that. We have an understanding like don't step out of the group, right? So Seneca, because he wanted to, in situations of perhaps injustice, be able to stand up and say something, even though there's this overwhelming, gripping fear that says, like, chill, sit down, be quiet, again, the way that we're socialized, right? So, this thing that he did to inoculate himself from worthless, silly shame, pointless shame, like, right, was he would go out into the public square wearing the most ridiculous, out of fashion clothes. So that on purpose he would engage with people who were looking at him and going like, or laughing at him, or pointing and whispering, because it was like, if people will point and whisper and laugh at me simply because I'm not wearing the clothes that are in fashion, or I'm not wearing colors that go nicely together, or I look a little ragged or whatever, if they will laugh and point and mock for such a silly thing, then I should not mind being mocked for doing good, right? For standing up and, yes, being a tall flower among the field, showing us the way, something fire sign people are here to do. So, Sagittarius, what do you want to practice in order to be able to stand up and stand out in the situations and moments and challenges that you want to meet? It was a very cool message. I was like, oh, okay, I'm keeping this one in my back pocket. I'm not a Sagittarius. I got some placements, but I'm not a Sagittarius. But I'm keeping this. So hello again, Sag. Excited to read for you. Now, keeping that overarching message in mind, let's get into the lay of the land. The story of your month. We'll pull a persona card to see what aspects of yourself that Spirit wants to highlight, what they're bringing forward in you in the month of June. Then we will pull cards to represent the recent past, Spirit. Anything pertinent from the recent past as it pertains to the unfolding future. A point of reference for Sagittarians as they enter the month of June. What do they need to know? And then Spirit, we want to know how that is unfolding into the present. What the sort of predominant present energy is in the month of June. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Spirit, what is the present flavored by? And Spirit, how are those effects of past and present circumstances and choices leading to the future? Want an idea of the path of the month of June, Spirit, so that Sagittarius people can best navigate it. So Spirit, please show us a vision of the future for Sagittarius in the month of June, where the past and present have them headed. And Spirit, we want to know your guidance, your advice for Sagittarius people. Anything that you want them to do or be aware of or consider for their highest good, Spirit, always for the joy, ease, peace, abundance, fulfillment of Sagittarius. Okay, there's your guidance. And Spirit, what is the climate? Want to know what kind of energy is surrounding Sagittarius in the month of June, kind of what they can expect to encounter, helping them do that drill that you're talking about, Spirit. What do you want to help prepare Sagittarius to face in the external world for their highest good? And Spirit, we want to know a likely outcome. A likely outcome based on those past and present decisions and circumstances. What Sagittarians could be headed for as a default, but they can decide to steer clear if they don't like it, or steer toward it if it looks good to them. Spirit, what is a likely outcome for Sagittarius in the month of June? And finally, want to know what is the key to unlocking the best and the most of June for Sagittarians, Spirit? What do you want to bring their awareness to unlock the best of what June has to offer and avoid the worst? All right, we need a clarifier here. Wow, you have some mostly really gorgeous cards, Sagittarius. I can see why Spirit was saying you need to run these drills, because in some ways it's like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do, but you're going to find out. Let me pull one more, Spirit. What does it look like for Sagittarius to pull off their blindfold, to look the challenge in the face, to break the analysis paralysis? Spirit, what is on the other side of this gate? Progress. Love to see it. Okay, so Sagittarius, you are coming through as the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles knows how to take care of herself and of her community. Pentacles are the earth element. They are tangible things, things that create tangible results. So the Queen of Pentacles is like the queen of the body. So one of the things that I'm hearing is this is a really important month for you to prioritize your health, your well-being, getting enough rest, drinking enough water, making sure you're moving your body enough. I'm hearing like stretching and circulation. So that's just something that I'm hearing for some of y'all, that doing maybe, setting a little alarm on your phone and being like, oh yeah, let me remind myself to get up every hour or so and take a little 5-minute, a little walk, a little stretch before I sit down and get back to work. So prioritize your well-being is something that I'm hearing very strongly, because your energy level contributes directly to what you're able to accomplish. And how good we feel in our physical body has a whole lot to do with what we feel capable of, even in the mental and the emotional realms, right? It's like, I'm too tired to have this conversation, or like I'm too depleted to complete that project, because maybe I haven't been eating that great, or like I've been skipping meals because I've been trying to get stuff done. That's something that Spirit is showing me. So let's ground into our body, because that will create a whole fuck ton of abundance. That's what Spirit really wants to make clear. You got the Seven of Pentacles, you got the Three of Pentacles, you got the Empress, you got the Ten of Pentacles in the energy around and available to you. So you can definitely tap in to that Ten of Pentacles, but it will be through making conscious decisions and being rooted. Spirit is saying, being rooted in, is this good for me? Is this good for me? So Spirit is showing me somebody with like a big delicious like jelly like donut or a big Danish. It's like, is this good for me? Okay, I'm gonna break it in half and I'll eat the other half tomorrow. And you can split the difference. Okay, it's not like you need to stop, but maybe you just be a little more conscious. That's all. Be a little more conscious. The Queen of Pentacles loves a jelly donut or a Danish, okay? She would never get in the way of you and the joy of your Danish. But if you were feeling, for example, like I've been eating too much sugar and it's having a direct impact on my energy level, or I fall asleep really whatever after I eat it or whatever, be mindful and take care of and support your physical body, because you have these great things that you want to do and have and enjoy and accomplish. And I see you working for it. So I'm going to work a little out of order here, Sagittarius, and thank goodness. I know that y'all are the vagabonds, the wanderers of the zodiac, so I'm going to wander around your reading a little bit because that's what Spirit is asking me to do. You have such gorgeous cards that my, Saturn emphasized chart cannot help but draw to the areas of static or the areas of issue, because I want to help you, here comes my cat, make the most of all this good shit that is here. Hey, want to say hi, Derpy, or will you scream? You'll probably scream. Okay. I promise she's happy to be here. She's just a little bit of a whiner, right? Yeah. Okay. So you can see your cards there. The vast majority of your cards are amazing. So these areas of static. Sitting in the future, the Eight of Swords. Now we have a nice, good clarifier, so I'm happy about that, but we'll talk about that in a second. So the Eight of Swords in the future is like, here's your yellow light as you begin to listen to this reading, knowing the future is the future. So it's like, I'm still in the present. I can pivot or make a different decision, or knowing that this could potentially be ahead, I can purposefully avoid those behaviors and engage in the opposite kind of behaviors, right? So Eight of Swords, overthinking it, listing out in your mind all of the ways things could go wrong or couldn't work out or could be actually disastrous if I do this thing that I want to do, or move forward in a way that feels brave or in alignment with me, or like what Spirit is saying with this Queen of Pentacles is like, I feel so rich and abundant, but when I start to get close to doing this thing, maybe I really get overwhelmed and I get scared. That even though I have all of this abundance and all of these skills and all of this expertise, but maybe you compare yourself to other people, or maybe again, you tell yourself, okay, but with like maybe a little bit more training and then I can do it. But the Queen of Pentacles is showing me you have everything that you need. You have all the abundance within you, especially again, as you take care of yourself, you'll be able to show up in that fullness of yourself and make people feel enriched. And that's really the word that Spirit is putting the focus on. Because yeah, we could talk about money, but the Queen of Pentacles, like really enrichment of all kinds, right, is really the vibe. So Eight of Swords, holding ourselves back via fear, right? That really harmonizes and matches with the energy sitting in the key position, the Five of Cups. This person is focusing on the two empty, overturned cups to the exclusion of the three full, upright cups that are behind them, surrounded by fat, juicy grapes that are being nourished by those cups. So what do these cards, if we put them in a Venn diagram, what do they have in common? They have in common focusing on the negative. They have in common thinking a lot more and feeling into a lot more what isn't working, what's not gone right, what we wish had gone a different way, or what could go wrong, what will go wrong, I'm not good enough yet, I need to do this, a fundamental insecurity. These are some things that they have in common. So focusing on the wrong things, focusing on what isn't going well, focus on the empty and rather than the full, puts us into a state of insecurity, puts us into a state where it's like, Jesus, I don't even think I could do it even if I wanted to, versus when we're aware, okay, let's say these two empty cups, damn, you know, that project that I had in mind or that challenge that I decided to take up, it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. I haven't shown up the way I want to, or it didn't sell or whatever, right? And I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. That's the Five of Cups. Like, I'm so disappointed that this didn't go the way that I wanted it to. When we are overly focused on what didn't work, what did work might dry up and evaporate over time. You know what I mean? As opposed to turning around and going, okay, that didn't work. But this here, this is really good. Or at least I learned this from that not working out. And it's like, watch one of those cups magically get filled again because you decided this well has been dug in me, not so that I can be empty, but so that I can fill it again, fill it with something new, fill it with something befitting of me. So there may be some disappointment that one thing doesn't go the way that you want it to, but everything else in your cards is saying that's not to your detriment. It could even be to ultimately to your benefit if you look at it with open eyes and make the adjustments and changes that are necessary. Okay, both, again, if in the Venn diagram of the Eight of Swords and the Five of Cups, both of these characters are hiding their eyes. They're not wanting to look at this because it's scary or it's sad. But your guidance for this month, the Seven of Pentacles, literally says, breathe, take a step back, and look. Yeah, I see you're trying to mess with my coffee. Breathe, take a step back, and really look in the full face. How is everything really going? What's working for me? What's not working for me? You don't put 7 legs on a table, right? Either you're going to cut one off or you're going to put another one on, but 7 is out of balance. So Spirit is saying, take a step back, gauge what's working for you, and then consider where the juice is not worth the squeeze and adjust as necessary. You are allowed to decide that you want to capitalize on one thing and you want to cut off another. I think that it may have been Scorpio that had a similar message. So if you have any Scorpio placements, you may want to go and listen to that reading and again see where the Venn diagram is pointing to for you. But there's this idea that, like, when you're growing a plant, you might think like, oh, well, the plant, for it to be healthy and thriving, it should have as many branches and leaves as possible. But the irony is, and the truth is, that if you prune very conscientiously and only as necessary, so just a little bit of pruning, like taking off a couple of branches can mean that the rest of the branches really like flourish and blossom and bear fruit, you know, because they're not scattering their energy across 100 different branches. Now they're using their energy to power 50. And so those 50 branches really fatten up and grow heavy with fruit and juice. And that's what Spirit is having me say. So whatever it is that you think you may have lost out on, it can, I want to say it can very easily, surprisingly easily or gently be replaced. Okay? And this is more of a process of subtraction than addition. Taking away a couple of things that you've told yourself you need to do could actually, like, less is more. You might be able to prune a couple of those branches and then 10 of Pentacles. That's what Spirit is saying. If you do 7 of Pentacles, then 10 of Pentacles becomes available, and that's the whole, the branches growing fat and heavy with fruit, like, ooh, I gotta pick this, you know, like, oh my god, there's just so much, what am I gonna do with it? That's the 10 of Pentacles. There's so much that I have to share. And that's what Spirit is showing me, is like somebody growing their first couple of bushels of strawberries and they're like, I had no idea that there would be this many, so I'm going to the neighbors, I'm calling up friends, I'm bringing strawberries everywhere I go. And that's you. I want to bring you over to the potential outcome, the Empress. That is very much that feeling of like, all of these strawberries, oh my gosh, I just got to share. I'm so abundant and I didn't even know it. And, you know, the Empress is growing something inside of her because she is, you know, the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress would really get along at a party. So that's really a great sign that you can harmonize with this potential outcome of like, as I take care of and nurture my body, my creativity, my desires, my excitement, as I nurture and care for that, it grows. And actually, you know, the Empress is the card of magnetizing and summoning and pulling things toward us. So act as if. walk your talk. You know what I mean? Practice your preach. Even if you can't, maybe your ideal is far away. I want to be able to, get up in the morning and jump in a cold plunge, and I wanted this and that. Okay, well, maybe the version that is currently available to you is like to fill up a bowl with ice water in the morning and dip your face in so that you get the vibe of like the cold plunge, right? And one day you'll have the $1,000,000 and you'll be able to do your cold plunge. But walk your talk now. Do the thing and make the life the way that you want it to be now. Sitting in the past, I said that we were going to meander. Sitting in the past, the Chariot, you have made a decision and you have gone down the road. So you've already made a brave beginning. You've made a commitment, and that whatever obstacles I may meet on the road to this, I'm willing to meet them. And Spirit is saying things are really opening up for you based on that courageous decision that you've made. So the Chariot of getting on the same page with yourself, taking the reins and saying, okay, yes, I'm a little scared of failing, but I've decided my fear of failing does not outweigh my desire for this thing. So fear, go ahead and get in the passenger seat. We're going. Like, that's that white horse, dark horse. We're all going in the same direction. My conscious mind is not going to start moving this way, but my unconscious mind is like, yeah, but maybe we just forget to turn on the alarm, and maybe we just sabotage ourselves and bring ourselves back to where we were before. How about that? We're not doing that. We are united. We are caring for our whole self like a Queen of Pentacles, like an Empress, like a divine mother. Like a mother with the child who is just learning to walk. A good mom is not like, no, sit your butt down. I don't want you to fall. No, they're like, yes, you need to learn to walk. And part of that is falling down and bumping your butt, is making mistakes, is trying and failing and maybe falling in public and people seeing it and maybe they have a little giggle. But you are not giggling at yourself because mom is not giggling at you because she is like, I saw that. You came further than you've ever come. Yep, you fell on your butt, but that's the furthest I've ever seen you go. Come on. You're doing great. Let's keep going. That's the vibe. Where does that bring you? The present, 3 of Wands. Spirit is showing me somebody walking up a long, tall hill. It's like, oh, I'm tired. Oh man, are we there yet? And you get to the top of the hill and wow, the vista, the view is incredible. And you can see, wow, I could go there, I could go there, I could take that path. All of these options and opportunities and new pathways open up for you based on your level of commitment and your willingness to face your fears. And you know what happens when we make a commitment to facing our fears? Usually we end up meeting them. That's what happens. Like, 8 of Swords sitting in the future is not a negative thing. It says that you are going to come into contact with your fears, and your yellow light is telling you, remember, don't freeze. Don't freeze. Remember, you're learning to walk. Be that loving mother, that motherly voice, that, again, ideal mother, right? Unconditionally loving, unconditionally supportive. You do not have to be meeting a certain standard to give yourself unconditional support and unconditional love. Let's just be straight up. Like, I'm so proud of you. I even see you sitting right there with your blindfold on, sitting in front of your fears, not ready or willing yet to take the step. I'm still proud of you. You're not running in the other direction. You're sitting here frozen, but you're not running. And that's something. And it's interesting how that kind of understanding approach thaws some of the fear, because that threat of like, what happens if I fail? Well, I won't not love and support myself because I have this unconditionally loving inner parent that is speaking to me, as opposed to, yeah, you're going to fail. And you know what happens? People who fail, they're losers. You know what I'm talking about? So be kind to yourself and speak to yourself in a warm, supportive, loving voice, even and especially when you are afraid. And what will happen is a 3 of Wands, if I can see the whole horizon and I can see all the paths that I could take, becomes then and transforms into a 3 of Pentacles of like, oh yeah, I know exactly now what I want to cultivate and what I want to build. And thinking about that guidance of the 7 of Pentacles saying a couple of things could go and then the whole thing could become a 10 of Pentacles. Facing your fears and looking at them, taking off the blindfold and looking at them actually allows you to take control. So don't make the mistake of the very understandable mistake of avoiding engaging with your fear or avoiding the challenge because you know that it's going to result in the fear or the I don't know or the insecurity to come up. Be like, I've got me. Let's do this. And you are going to shock yourself with what you're able to grow and create and cultivate, and not by doing more. That's something that I'm hearing. It might actually literally be by doing less better. Okay? Okay. I really hope that this is helpful, Gemini. Oh, it's Gemini season. I'm so sorry. I know I'm talking to Sagittarius. It's your opposite. It's going to be an interesting month, though, because it is in your opposite sign. The sun, I mean. Okay. I'm running out of words. I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for being here, Sag. I really hope it's helpful. I really hope it helps you have the best month and make the best moves. Remember, we hang out every Sunday live at 11 a.m. Central. If you want to hang out for the weekly collective readings, I would love that. And if not, I hope I will catch you in your July reading. Till then, bye, Sag.